City National Bank, your local carrier dealers, Lakeland University, Z-Bart, Cannon and Dunphy, Loyal Family Renovations, Tsunami Express Car Wash, Steamfitters Local 601, Big Fish Contracting, SVA, a professional services company, WeatherTight, and Network Health on the home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
At Big Fish Contracting, we want every home project to be a good story worth sharing. That's why we as a team aim to exceed your expectations. We can improve any aspect of your home. Everything from a complex remodel to the essential roof, gutters, siding, and windows. Integrity, humility, and kindness are why we've grown in southeastern Wisconsin for the last 2 decades. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service.
It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey.
Riding with you every mile since 1977.
Hey fans, the Brew Crew are hot and so are the summer temps. Now is the perfect time to step up your comfort game with a new Carrier home comfort system to keep your home cool all summer long. Ask your local dealer about local Wisconsin focus on energy rebates and financing for qualified buyers. Turn to the experts at Carrier. We've got you covered so you can get back to cheering on the crew. Carrier, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Find your local dealer at carriermilwaukee.com.
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone!
Covering the crew all season long, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studio in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Bob Brainerd.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that were salivating, for those of you who had the ketchup and the mustard and the pickles all set and ready to roll back here in Milwaukee, if the Brewers made it 12 in a row, hold your garnishes, hold your condiments. Not going to happen. In fact, Bob Brainerd, by the way, in for Dom here on a Tuesday night. This is Brewers Extra Innings. Craig Kashan will join me later. I'm just perusing social media here as the game ended out west in Seattle. And according to the George Webb Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, social media tweet, this was about 25 minutes ago, tough break tonight, Milwaukee. While we were all rooting for that 12th win, we're still here serving up your favorite burgers, chili, and all-day breakfast. Yeah, that's good stuff. Keep cheering on the crew, and we'll keep serving up the best. Thanks for your support. Hashtag George Webb, hashtag Milwaukee. And then they've got a placard there underneath that says, sorry, folks, good luck with the rest of the season, signed George Webb. So those guys, the burger guys, everybody was talking about this, right? As soon as the Brewers start getting into a rhythm and start, I think it's usually like about the halfway point. You get about to a 6-game win streak, and then everybody starts talking about George Webb burgers, right? And it became more and more real after the Dodger sweep in L.A. There was maybe a little bit of talk when they swept the Dodgers in Milwaukee, but you had the All-Star break, and so that kind of like, silenced things for a little bit, and they beat the Nationals, and so, but again, the All-Star break kind of tamped it down. But then after they won in L.A., when they won those 3 in L.A., then everybody started doing the math. Man, if we can get 2 more in Seattle, guess what? Milwaukee was going to feast on those burgers. We're going to talk about the history of that as well, because it is something that was not just conjured up here even back in the 80s when Team Streak was doing it, and they actually handed out the burgers in the 70s and the 80s. It's been done twice before, but a little history to go with that George Webb prediction of 12 in a row. But right now, we'll turn our attention to how the streak ended before it got to 12. It's an 11-game streak, and so it's going to go down as tied for the second longest behind, of course, Team Streak that started the season 13 in a row back in 1987. It's impressive. It has the Brewers tied again with the Cubs now for not only the division, but the best record in baseball because the Cubs were able to beat the Royals tonight. So that was another thing that was going on. I'm out and about in the community this morning, this afternoon. Everybody's talking about the Brewers, and they're talking about the hamburgers, yes, but they're also talking about the fact that everybody knew, hey, Milwaukee Brewers, best record in all of baseball. Hey, Milwaukee Brewers, first in their division, not tied with the Cubs, first in their division. If the playoffs were today, people were talking about that. If the playoffs were today, they're the number one seed in the National League. Everybody had that buzz when they were talking about Brewer baseball today. And it's fleeting. That's what baseball is, because today you get back into a tie with the Cubs, not only for the division, but in a tie for the best record for baseball. But still, pretty darn good as they get a chance to go for the rubber match, the rubber game against the Mariners tomorrow afternoon out west. As for this game, it was funky, and it was also in many ways very similar to the game that played out last night in how it started and where the action started. Remember all the goose eggs last night? Same thing here, and then along comes the sixth inning, and that was the difference. But we play it all back for you on the highlights of Game 2 between Milwaukee and Seattle.
Ready for this? This?
Brought it back! Ho, ho, ho!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Okay, again, not many highlights, but let's go back to the starting pitcher for the Brewers because, yes, the Miz was on the mound, and I think that's why a lot of folks thought, I like my chances. I like this team's chances to get that 12th straight victory, to get us those hamburgers back here in Milwaukee. The Miz on the mound, and he was awfully good, especially in the early going. He had the strikeout going.
3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out anyway. And Mizorowski pumping his fists and smacking his glove as he comes off the mound.
Yeah, that kid is special, and he loves big moments like that. He pitched into the fourth inning, got 7 strikeouts, threw a bunch of heaters. He was plus 100 a handful of times in the game, gave up only 3 hits, walked just 1 Seattle Mariner. He threw 64 pitches, and that's when they pulled him. Now, if you were listening to the game, he took a baseball on the back around the bottom area and the back area. He waved off the trainer, said it was nothing. So that wasn't the reason that they pulled Miz in the 4th inning. We're going to hear from Pat Murphy later, and I'm sure he will address that the Brewers are starting to look at his pitch counts, and they're starting to look at his workload, and that's going to be a key going down the stretch. Okay, so the Miz is out. DL Hall comes in, and he registers an inning and 2/3 and keeps the game scoreless. Then Nick Mears takes over in the 6th inning, and again, the action inning just like yesterday when the Brewers scored 4 times. However, tonight, the action inning was the bottom of the 6th, and the big dumper, Cal Raleigh.
2-2 pitch. And a high fly ball to deep right field. Cal Raleigh has sent one out of here for his 39th home run of the season. And the Mariners take a 1-0 lead. Fastball at 96. It was barely a strike. Clipped the upper outside corner, and Cal Raleigh, that's just a big, strong man who turned that pitch around and sent it out to right. That's an impressive swing.
Yeah, it is. And we all saw that in the All-Star game in the Home Run Derby, the Home Run champ. Number 39 for Cal Raleigh, a catcher. Made it 1-0, okay? 6th inning, action inning, but not like with the Brewers last night, posted 4 runs. However, tonight, different story because the Mariners starter, Logan Gilbert, was dealing past the 6th inning. He worked into the 7th inning, only allowed 2 base hits off Milwaukee, and he struck out 10. But Milwaukee, once they got into the bullpen, they had some chances late. 8th inning, tying run aboard on the bases, Bryce Terang at the plate.
Spire looks at first. Now the pitch. There goes the runner. It's a swing and a miss. And the inning is over. Terang has struck out 4 times tonight. And the Brewers leave the tying run at first base. They strand a runner here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, it was a tough night, to be sure, for Bryce Terang. Still, 1-0 as we go to the 9th inning. Mariners call on their closer, Anthony Munoz, to try to close this one out. Walked a couple batters, so you've got the tying and the go-ahead runs on the bases for Milwaukee. Another chance to try to pull this one out, at least send it to extra innings, but no dice tonight.
Munoz, the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, hit on the ground to third. Williamson up with it, throws to second in time, and the Mariners have snapped the Brewers' 11-game winning streak. The hottest team in baseball finally drops a contest. What a run it was for the Brewers, and they'll try to start another winning streak tomorrow afternoon when they go for the series win. A 1-0 shutout victory for the Mariners here tonight.
Yep, that's how it ends, 1-0. And as the guy said, wrapping it up, it's amazing that Seattle, in the 2 games played so far in this series out west, Seattle scored 1 run, and yet they have a series split so far after they fell last night 6-0. So the Brewers couldn't scratch out a run there in the 8th or the 9th inning to try to extend this game. So no burgers for you, no burgers for anybody back here. 11-game streak. We will settle for that in this series. All right. When we come back on Brewers Extra Innings, we will talk more about the history of the George Webb Burgers. Yeah, why not start a new streak tomorrow, right? And Craig Kashan will wrap things up on the TV side and then join us from FanDuel Sports to talk about the Miz and the streak and what the heck, burgers. It's late in Milwaukee. You're listening to Brewers Extra Innings.
At Tony Wendorf & Associates First Weber Real Estate Services, we believe in the human side of real estate. For us, it's faith, family, and friends in that order. We live that every single day. We move fast, negotiate with confidence, and communicate clearly so our clients win. We operate from a place of gratitude, having donated nearly $200,000 back to our community since 2020. You deserve a team that delivers a luxury experience no matter the price point. Tony Wendorf & Associates. Trusted knowledge, superior service. Contact us today at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Get back to the ballpark for Brewers action against the Marlins July 25th through the 27th. Second half of the season kicks off with Pokemon Go Day on the 25th and a Bryce Terang bobble on the 26th. Get seats today at Brewers.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
So Donald Trump, as you can imagine, let this get under his skin. He's not happy that she's flapping her jaws, and so he responded.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
So it opens up the discussion of how vulnerable naturalized citizens, or any citizen, if they're speaking out against someone.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings. Bob Brainerd in for Don. Craig Kashan going to join us shortly. Hey, Milwaukee, looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs? Look no further than Fifth Third Bank with a local team right here in Milwaukee. They know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association member, FDIC. As promised, Craig Kashan from FanDuel Sports joining us here on the late edition of Brewers Extra Innings. Craig, I hope you didn't have the onions and the pickles and the relish and everything standing by ready to throw on a burger and a bun, because it ain't happening, my friend. Close, but not happening.
I'm always ready for a free burger, Bob. You know, free tastes so good. I don't know what it is about free food, but to no avail, my friend. It ain't happening, but you know what? That's okay. I'll give up a burger and gladly pay you next Tuesday for another winning streak. How about that?
There you go. Let's talk about The Miz, because you and I touched on this last night, and in fact, you brought up the fact that there is something going on that we may not see or we may not know about, but you know that Pat Murphy and you know the Brewers are going to start to monitor this young man and, you know, perhaps limit his time on the hill, because they don't want to burn this star out so early, and he's already pitched a lot of innings. We've seen the miles per hour, and so they're going to be careful. Even though Milwaukee's involved in, you know, the push here for the final 2 months of where they want to slot into the postseason, they still have to preserve this asset, and maybe we saw some of that tonight.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse of what we're going to see down the stretch here if they want the Miz to pitch, you know, through this playoff chase. I mean, look, I don't know how you can pitch a guy, then limit his innings, and then just shut him down and then try to bring him back. I mean, I don't see that happening. So I don't know what their blueprint is right now, other than the fact that he's not going to go deep in games and he is going to be on a pitch count. I think that's perfectly clear right now, and I think that's, you know, been told to Jacob, and Jacob understands that, and he's all about, you know, whatever they think the game plan should be, because he's right about at the point where, you know, he has never pitched over 100 innings, you know, at any level during one season, and he's, you know, approaching, you know, a milestone here soon. And if they can stretch it out and, you know, get him to a point where he's still going to be effective, you know, on the front end of a game like this, look, I'll take Jacob going, you know, 4 innings of 7 strikeouts and giving up nothing. And then, you know, you've got a qualified bullpen out there in D.L. Hall and Aaron Ashby, who can get you to the 6th and 7th innings because that's their jobs. I mean, they're multi-inning long relievers, and I think they're in shape right now and could put themselves in even better shape as we push along, perhaps with another pitcher, to keep that theme kind of going. But just the effectiveness on the front end of a game like we saw tonight, and you bring in opposite lefty like we saw with D.L. Hall, you're going to tame some bats. I mean, that's a really good offensive club, the Mariners. I mean, Cal Raleigh's the only guy that got a big hit. So, I mean, they've done a nice job here in the first 2 games of this series. But what we see from the Miz now is, I think we're going to continue this.
Yeah, you mentioned guys like Ashby and Hall, and you and I were also talking about this last night, that the Brewers, as everybody knows, they are blessed right now, almost clogged with so many possible starting pitchers. I mean, and Hall could be a starter, and Ashby could be a starter, and you know, all the guys we mentioned last night. There's just not enough room. But with this, almost solves 2 problems. You're able to keep the Miz pitch count in check, not burn him out here, so that he is well rested for the really meaningful games late September, hopefully into October. And then you're also giving guys, like you said, Craig, the master plan. Are you talking with all these other arms and saying, look, you're not going to be the guy starting, but we need you to be ready no matter how good this kid is pitching. We're going to shut him down at a certain point in the game. So we need you to be more ready a lot sooner. And then that gives those guys, those arms who would be starters, opportunities to pitch meaningful innings as well.
Yeah, and, you know, we also talked about how does a guy like Nestor Cortez fit in. I mean, they have the ability to be creative here for a period of time. They don't necessarily have to trade anybody to make things work. I think it's hard to trade assets like the Brewers have here right now, especially at a time when everyone's looking for pitching arms. I mean, if you read, you know, any of how the experts have set up right now, who's potentially available out there, like a top 50 of who you'd want to go get for a trade, I would say out of that top 50, 40 of those players are pitchers. So, you know, the Brewers don't have to trade away what they have here right now. They can utilize these guys, and you can keep everybody fresh and keep everybody happy. So it's just a matter of getting into those, you know, those key roles in that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and having those go-to guys that you're used to having in there. You know, Uribe and obviously McGill, you know, Koenig and Mears right now, how you carefully use those guys down the stretch. But getting there, they have a little bit of luxury right now to choose how they're going to get there. And then, you know, adding a guy like Cortez to the mix as well. So you never know how this is going to pan out. But I'll tell you what, I will never, ever, ever doubt what this organization does and the choices they make for pitching right now. I mean, show me another organization that has done and can do what the Brewers are doing here right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And also, I mean, and I'll knock on wood, you know, when I say this, because you've got guys like Woodruff getting healthy. You've got Cortez getting healthy. And so there's a reason that we have right now, we're on the precipice of, big college word there, precipice. We're on the precipice of being able to have this glut of starting pitchers. But, you know, there's still, we got over 2 months to go in the regular season. And if somebody does tweak something from a starting pitching standpoint, or somebody needs a rest, or, you know, somebody's just, you know, they're not pitching like they have so far, what we've seen, heck, now you're not scrambling to try to find somebody to plug and play until that guy is well rested, until that guy is healthy again. You can, I hate to put it this way, Craig, but you can almost afford to have an injury now from a starting pitching standpoint, because you have a lot of dependable arms that can plug in if that happens.
Right, and we've seen it before. I mean, this is how it kind of works. I think the only thing, you know, was as far as pitching goes, they go on a 15-dayer, not a 10-dayer. So
right,
that's. But I mean, here's the thing, though. If you have the luxury of doing that, if someone's got a tired arm, I mean, you give them a couple of weeks to rest that arm up, and see where everybody else is in 2 weeks too. So there's some good options here. There is nothing that this team has to do here right now. They can still, if they want to improve this club, they have the ability to improve this club. It's just, where do you want to do that? You sure don't want to lose 1-0 games, that's for sure. You could still use, you know, an experienced, you know, powerful bat. They don't have a big striker here right now, and maybe they could find one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll discuss that, and we're going to discuss burgers as well, as we have reached past the witching hour here, past midnight back here in Milwaukee, as the Brewers fall out west of Seattle Mariners to break the 11-game win streak 1-0. More with Craig Kashan when we return on Brewers Extra Innings.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
Now that you're ready to purchase a new bike, do yourself a solid by stopping by one of our Wheel and Sprocket stores to test ride an electric bike, better known today as an e-bike. And let me tell you, these bikes are a game changer because you can ride a whole lot further without even breaking a sweat. We're talking 20 to 50 miles on a single charge. So even riding uphill comes with tons of thrills. But before you decide, stop by any of our Wheel and Sprocket locations first and let us explain in detail what e-bikes are all about. And once you're here, you'll find rows and rows of bikes in a bunch of different styles and colors for you to see, touch, feel, and even test ride. After all, here at Wheel and Sprocket, we love bikes, which is why bikes are all we do.
Visit wheelandsprocket.com for a location near you.
I'm Amelia Kegel with Wheel and Sprocket. Life is short. Enjoy your ride.
It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Get sale discounts store-wide all month long. What a great time to shop for all of your Christmas needs. Get your holiday decor and so much more, along with all the great bargains we always have for you. It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Welcome back to BEI. Brewers fall in Seattle 1-0 to end the 11-game streak right there. Since 1912, cider has been your go-to for home comfort. Make sure you get that air conditioner tuned up. It's going to be a hot one in Milwaukee tomorrow. Call Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical or schedule online at cider.com. That's EIDER.com. Bob Brainerd in for Dom on a Tuesday night, joined by FanDuel Sports' Craig Gashan. And Craig, it's something I thought about when I looked at the lineup, and you talked about the possibility of getting a bat. Getting a powerful bat. And we've seen it. I mean, you've seen all these scenarios and mock trade ideas on where to go. And then there's always the big if. Okay, go get a third baseman. Well, yeah, but Caleb Durbin is doing a really good job for a rookie over there. Well, go get a shortstop. Yeah, but Joey Ortiz is a really good defensive shortstop, and he has had his moments offensively. So I'm looking at Yelich out there playing in the outfield tonight, and I'm thinking, okay, why don't you just go get a bat and then use that bat? Just go get somebody who can be a designated hitter most of the time. Then that way, you're not so concerned about where the position of the player is.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, quite honestly, we were kind of talking about here too during the game. Just where does this team, miss a bat here right now? I mean, look at the left side of the infield right now. I don't know how long, Ortiz and Durbin can keep even the pace they're going here right now. They've never done this before at the major league level. They don't have success on the major league level, a ton of it anyway. Ortiz has last year under his belt, but this year clearly, your second year in the majors is maybe one of your toughest years. Can you do what you did your first year and earn your way back and still play really well? So that's part of the things that Joey Ortiz is going through. And then Durbin is clearly, learning how to be a big leaguer in his first year on the job. And that's what you have to do your rookie season. So, but neither one are built for the postseason, and neither one necessarily are built for the month of September either. So you just don't know at this point what kind of performance you're going to get. So I think a high desire would be to have an experienced bat. I think Christian Yelich can man left field. I'm still not sure how they're going to handle this the rest of the way. We've seen a little bit more of him out there in the last couple of weeks, but not as much as I thought maybe we would. I'd still like the DH role to kind of be freed up for Contreras here, but he was behind the plate and Siegler was the DH. So I think, quite frankly, I think you can do better at DH than a guy like Siegler, and that's not a knock against him. This is still about experience here right now, and I think those are some of the things that they're exploring. And quite frankly, Bob, the outfield scenario, as deep as we thought it was in spring training, that depth has been hurt by injuries, and it all started with Mitchell again, and Blake Perkins not coming back till now, and he's still not, quite frankly, 100%, to be honest with you. So I don't know if they're in a bind necessarily, but they're in a spot where they can go from being in a bind to be buying and see where that gets them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's when you start to look at the pieces that are available. Okay, are you going to go get a bat regardless of the position? Or are you going to look and say, okay, here's a bat we can get, and they can also be an outfielder because we're a little thin, or we're, you mentioned Mitchell. Now Sal Frelick is nursing an injury. So if it's something like that plugs in. And then, Craig, and you know all about chemistry because we've seen this with these Brewer teams the last handful of years. Part of the reason these teams get to the postseason in Milwaukee is because of that clubhouse, because of the chemistry. So while you want to maybe get an upgrade at shortstop offensively, you want to get an upgrade with the rookie over at third base, you also don't want to just say, okay, we're kicking you guys out of here because we got this veteran that we traded for and we have to play him. So you really have to walk that line there and be careful that you don't mess with the chemistry when you make a trade for one of those positions.
Well, I think to a degree you have to worry about that, but I think with the guys that we're talking about here right now in the scenarios, I think that's just part of the game, where they're just going to have to accept that, and the team's going to have to accept that. And if they're going to, keep Durbin and they're going to keep Ortiz, if they do replace them as starters, but keep them as guys coming off the bench and have them play a role. It's just like I said yesterday, it's really important to not worry too much about the chemistry as much as it is to have all of the guys that are putting on that uniform every single night understand their role, believe in their role, and if they do, then that chemistry is not interrupted. If they bring in a new guy and he is the qualified replacement, how can you argue with that? That's just how sports goes. I get the chemistry thing, but to me, this isn't a Josh Hader type situation where, even Aaron Savali, the dude asked to be traded. So get him out of the clubhouse. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. They wasted no time. You don't want to be here? We have no hard feelings. You're out of here. And then look what, Andrew Vaughn has been able to do since that trade. So you just have to, you got to take some chances and just make guys understand what their role is. And I think this organization, for the most part, has really done a nice job.
Yeah. Before I cut you loose, do you know? You're like me. You grew up in the Milwaukee area and Wisconsin, but do you know how far back this George Webb burger thing goes?
I didn't until I did a little research on it today. I'm not even sure how much the Braves were involved, as much as this all started apparently when the Brewers minor league team was here. What, in the 40s?
Yes,
that's crazy.
In the 40s. I know, in the 40s. And then the Braves, as good as the Braves were, won a World Series in 57, they never had a 12-game streak so that George Webb, and this was the original George Webb, the man, his name George Webb, came up with that in the 40s. And then, I did the research too, Craig, so you and I are on the same page. And then it was his son, Jim Webb, who brought it back. I think it was like in the mid-'60s. And then when the Brewers, it was like, okay, we're bringing this back. This was in the Braves days, and it was in the Brewers minor league days, but we're bringing it back. And then it took till 87, right, until they finally got the 13-game streak. And in 87, this was staggering. 170,000 free burgers were handed out in Milwaukee. And then in 2018, when they did it again, 190,000 burgers were dished out. So can you imagine what would have happened if they would have won tonight? Because people talk about this now, and just with social media, even more than it was in 2018 and certainly in 1987, that wasn't around. Can you imagine how social media would just push this even further?
Well, I was thinking about this too. My my sons, and they're closer in age to your son as well. They don't, God bless everybody on the radio, Jeff and Lane and Josh and the late great Uke and stuff. But these guys don't listen to the radio, because when they're remote, they just have their phones, and they turn the TV portion of the game on, and they A, listen to it that way, or B, watch it in whatever motion or line they're in. So I would love to know how many people were in line at George Webb's tonight with just watching the game on their phone, thinking, right, I'm first in line, baby, and I'm ready to cash in, So I think it's fun. It's so Milwaukee and Wisconsin to have a deal like this, and to not have it happen very often either. It's fun to anticipate and get this close. They've done it so many times, but reaching 12 is tough to do.
Yeah. Hey, and George Webb, you know what? They got all this free advertising, and they don't have to cook 170 or 190,000 burgers.
Exactly.
They said, I read it on social media, on Twitter or X or whatever. They were ready to do it. They were ready to come through on the promise, but they don't have to. But they still got all the free advertising, because that's what everybody was talking about back here. He is Craig Gashan from FanDuel Sports. Craig, thanks. Always good talking to you. Late night or whatever, anytime, my friend.
You got it, Bob. Thanks, and great talking with you as well. And we'll talk to you here before the season's up. That's for sure.
Yeah, you bet. When we return on Brewers Extra Innings, buying and selling, I have some thoughts. What say you as you listen in?
Hi, this is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. And I'm a consumer just like you. And my ears perk up for pain relief messages just like you. But some of these ads...
Since I started taking this natural supplement, within weeks, my pain is completely gone.
I mean, come on. Give me a break. The truth is, there are imbalances in your body causing your pain. And there's physical therapy, which we are highly skilled at, that can improve imbalances. And there are alternative pain solutions. But not all of them are proven, safe, effective, or affordable. At Rejuvenex, the effectiveness of Toradol joined with hyaluronic acid has been proven. Our treatments are affordable, FDA approved, safe, and they're powerful medicines. They calm inflammation and cushion joints, and they can make your pain go away.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Toasted 25 seasons of American Family Field at the Brewers game on Friday, July 25th. Celebrate with a pregame ceremony, a postgame home run derby featuring Prince Fielder and more legends, plus special offers. Get your tickets at brewers.com.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Most insurance accepted.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Buying or selling on Brewers Extra Innings, it's brought to you by Tony Wendorf and Associates. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, trust Tony Wendorf and Associates, one of the top real estate teams in Wisconsin. Part of First Weber Real Estate Services, they bring faith, family, and a red carpet experience to every home deal. Let's step up to the plate together. Wendorf, team.firstweber.com. Bob Brainerd in for Dom on a Tuesday night, on actually a Wednesday morning here on Brewers Extra Innings. All right, buying or selling burgers. I was buying before it became 1-0 Seattle as the final score. I was buying the fact that going into the game with Miz on the mound, I thought this was as good as a done deal for Milwaukee, but Logan Gilbert was just better than the Miz tonight, and that's what it was going to take for the Brewers to have their streak snapped. But I was buying that we were all going to get burgers from George Webb at the beginning of the night. Isaac Collins, I wasn't buying him once he got plugged in mostly on a regular basis in the outfield, but I'm starting to buy into Isaac Collins. Had a tough night like a lot of guys did for the Brewers lineup card tonight, but I'm starting to see this kid is taking advantage of his opportunities, and he deserves the playing time that he's getting. Brandon Woodruff, we talked about him. We saw what he did last night going 6 innings. I'm buying it because Woody hasn't had any hiccups in his start since he came back. You expected that somewhere he might be amped up and he would be good out of the chute like he was, but then eventually things would catch up. Nothing's caught up to Woody so far. He looks like the old Brandon Woodruff of old, so I'm buying that he is all the way back. Like the Miz, though, the Brewers are going to have to monitor his arm and monitor his pitches here in these next couple of months. And DL Hall, that was somebody that I was not buying because whenever I saw DL Hall in there, it just looked like, what's his role? What's he doing? And then I don't think he felt comfortable, and he didn't always have the best outing. He did really well tonight, coming in the 4th inning for Miz when the Brewers decided to take him out of the contest. And I think D.L. Hall, and Craig Gashan touched on it, I think he has a place here, whether he is that guy that comes in quicker to give Mizorowski, the quick hook to preserve that arm, that talented arm. I think D.L. Hall, I'm buying him the rest of the way. And then Nestor Cortez, buying or selling, I'm buying the fact that I think Nestor can get back to being healthy and be a stud arm, but then I'm also thinking I want to sell him. I don't know if there's enough time here for people because he's not back in the rotation yet. It would be great if they could at least give him a start coming up here before the trade deadline to kind of showcase him so that you could sell him off to another ball club and perhaps get one of those bats that Craig and I were talking about. So that's buying and selling. When we come back, we'll explore our player of the game. There are a few choices in this game. The Seattle wins it 1-0, but are we sliding over to the Brewers for today's MVP? We'll talk about it next.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, representing the auto dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam member dealers employ more than 6,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 15th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil campaign. To date, Adam has donated over $953,000, which provided over 3.8 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
When you need commercial or residential plumbing service, you need it now. Call Quality. We have over a 60-year track record of taking care of people. And with over 60 vehicles ready to respond to your needs, we'll be there in a hurry, so you won't have to worry. This is Anthony Zaneski. For commercial or residential plumbing service, call Quality and get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Tonight's player of the game is brought to you by International Autos Group. Just like our MVP, you can drive into summer in style and save up to $10,000 on in-stock BMWs, Audis, Mercedes-Benz, and more. No tariffs, just huge savings. Visit iamilwaukee.com. International Autos Group, where ordinary needs to be extraordinary. All right, so player of the game. So when you're looking at this 1-0 game, there's a couple guys you could go, a couple avenues you could go. And going into this, again, I'm thinking a lot of Brewer fans are thinking back here in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, we got the Miz on the mound. This guy's going to pitch us deep into the contest. If they could have given him some pad, a few more runs, then that might have been our guy as the player, because he would have set the table on the hill. And he did that going into the fourth inning. But boy, the player of the game, we have to give it to the other guy on the hill, because Logan Gilbert worked into the seventh inning. He went 6 1/3, gave up only 2 base hits, not a single run, didn't walk a Brewer, and he struck out 10. He made 86 pitches, 59 for strikes. He was outstanding. The Miz was good in his limited time on the hill. He had 7 strikeouts, gave up only 3 hits, and walked just 1. But Gilbert went deeper, and that was the key. He really just held those Brewers in check tonight, and then the Mariners bullpen was able to get around some potential tying runs on the base. So Logan Gilbert going to be our International Autos player of the game. When we come back on Brewers Extra Innings, our play of the game, and also we'll hear from Brewer skipper Pat Murphy.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Certa Pro Painters. They painted the exterior of our house. I loved it because they're thorough and they're thoughtful. As a matter of fact, they pointed out some wood that might need to eventually be replaced. They just looked at the whole house, and I felt like they absolutely cared. Get on Certa Pro's calendar right now. The summer sales discount goes through July 31st. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. They'll do it the right way the first time. Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's Certa Pro Painters.
Take a step toward bringing our country and community together. Start a meaningful conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Elevate your escape during the summer of Audi at Audi North Shore and Audi Milwaukee, where you can save up to $15,000 on a new Audi or get low 2.99% financing for 72 months at Audi North Shore in Brown Deer and Audi Milwaukee. Members of the International Autos Group, where our ordinary needs to be extraordinary. On select in-stock new units. Savings include customer credit and dealer credit. Financing with approved credit. $15.19 per month per thousand financed. No down payment required.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
2-2 pitch. And a high fly ball to deep right field. Cal Raleigh has sent one out of here for his 39th home run of the season. And the Mariners take a 1-0 lead. Fastball at 96. It was barely a strike. Clipped the upper outside corner, and Cal Raleigh, that's just a big, strong man who turned that pitch around.
Yep, the big dumper strikes in Seattle. That is our play of the game. It's brought to you tonight by Surfside, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside iced tea and vodka and Surfside lemonade and vodka, paired perfectly with a day at the ballpark, stocked at American Family Field for all the fans all season long. Yeah, hard to argue. I mean, Logan Gilbert was really good. The Miz was good in his short time, but in a 1-0 game, you got to tip your hat to the guy who put one over the fence to provide the only run of and that was Cal Raleigh. Amazing what he continues to do, not just the damage he did before the All-Star break and then winning the home run derby, but 39 home runs for a catcher, and we're just just past the 100 game mark. What a season that outstanding player is having for the Seattle Mariners. All right, Pat Murphy, the skipper, probably a little bit bummed that the streak came to an end, but afterwards, talking about what has transpired so far, and there's been a lot of positives.
You can't give him that big of a rest and then let him go out there and have his normal start. You got to build up to it a little bit. So we thought somewhere between 55 and 65 pitches and no more than 4 ups, and a good way to get him back into it. And, it was fine. It was fine.
Considering the layoff, what did you think of his command and stuff?
Yeah, I thought he was very good. Electric in the first inning, and then, it came down a little bit. And by the 50th pitch, you could see his velo coming down, and you could see, that he hadn't been out there in a while. So I was very proud of what he did. I mean, this is a young kid who's had a lot coming at him, and didn't give up anything, and really, I felt like did a really nice job.
They put together a handful of longer at-bats against him tonight than maybe some other guys have. How do you think he handled that?
I did. I mean, I think he's turning into a major league pitcher, and he's having to go through that, realizing, hey, these guys got great experience. Raleigh's got one of the best hitters in the game right now, and this team over there is loaded, and they're very formidable, and I think it's great for Miz to see, like, wow, I can't just blow everybody away. I gotta pitch a little bit. So.
Do you like the emotion coming off the mound there after that Canzoni at bat? Miz, where he kind of keeping up the ball, then he had to go back, struck him out, and all the fist pumps and everything. Is that something he's going to have to learn?
He'll learn how to the appropriate. I don't think he did anything inappropriate, but I think he'll learn the appropriate emotional control. I think he'll learn that. Yeah, for sure.
In a case like this, where he's in on this, that he knows it's going to be a shorter.
Yeah.
How does a kid not let that affect what he does?
Well, I mean, a lot would. A lot of people would probably be affected by that. But the kid knows we've got his best interest in mind, and we're not going to overexpose him or put him in any. We're going to try to do everything we can to keep him away from, any situations that could lead to overuse or could lead to, putting him in danger of exposing himself or getting hurt. So, yeah, I think it went just like we wanted it to, and I thought DL came in and did a good job, and we gave up a home run to the best home run hitter in the game. He hit a decent pitch. It wasn't like we threw him a cookie. He hit a decent pitch, and credit goes to him. Hats off to the Mariners, the way the kid pitched tonight, the big kid, and the way their bullpen pitched. And hats off to Raleigh for coming up big at a big time. I thought it was great.
That's Brewer skipper Pat Murphy. Boy, I'll tell you what, he just crystallizes and he summarizes everything so well. In that short clip there of the press conference, he talked about why they did what they did with Mizorowski, and also talking about DL Hall doing the job, and how Mizorowski is buying into this. He knows it's coming. It's not a big surprise. So talked about that. So if you're surprised as a Brewers fan, you shouldn't be, because this is part of the bigger plan. And also, as Murph talked about, this is part of the plan to keep him healthy and keep that arm in a good place. And then also, Murph tipping his hat to Logan Gilbert for doing his job over there for Seattle, and for Cal Raleigh for doing what he's been doing all season long. So it was just one of those games where you do tip your cap, because your guy was good, their guy was better for a little bit longer, and their guy who hits home runs hit one, and that's all you needed, as the Mariners win it 1-0 and end the Brewers streak at 11. They will try to start a new one tomorrow afternoon to wrap up that series in Seattle. We will get the pitching matchup and everything set for you when we return.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
The Milo bedroom from Penny Mustard takes you back to the time of Mad Men, martinis, and mop tops.
Right on. I love Milo's clean, streamlined look. It's a gas.
Made in the USA and scaled to fit any room.
Perfect for your pad. It's totally bodacious.
Wrong decade, Arvid.
Don't be so square, man. The Milo bedroom with queen platform bed, 6-drawer dresser, mirror, and 3-drawer nightstand, starting at $52.09 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Comfort Awnings and Abbey Home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Bob Brainerd in for Dom here. Started off on a Tuesday night. It's now Wednesday morning. Want to thank my producer, Matt Yezel, for staying up late, as well as Craig Gushan staying up late as well from FanDuel Sports. We were all hoping that we'd be talking about the Brewers making it 12 in a row, and then all the folks that were camping out, standing in line at George Webb, they're open 24/7, so no doubt there would have been people in line in southeast Wisconsin who wanted to claim their free burger tonight. They didn't want to wait until tomorrow. But it ain't happening. If you are waiting in line, you can go home. The Mariners win it 1-0. Brewers wrap up this series and then get to head home after the game tomorrow afternoon out west. It is a 2:05 pregame show right here on 620 WTMJ, and 2:40 is the first pitch scheduled back here in Milwaukee and Wisconsin time. Quinn Priester going to take the hill. How about him? After the Brewers acquired him from the Boston Red Sox organization, 8-2 on the year, an ERA of 3.33. He's got 80 strikeouts so far this season. He's going to face another tough customer on the hill for Seattle, Luis Castillo, with a record of 7-5, an ERA of 3.21. He's got exactly 100 strikeouts this year. That'll do it. We're going to start a new streak, right, Brewer fans? Get George Webb all nervous again as the Brewers and Mariners wrap up their series out west in Washington. Thanks for listening to Brewers Extra Innings.
Get back to the ballpark for Brewers action against the Marlins July 25th through the 27th. Second half of the season kicks off with Pokemon Go Day on the 25th and a Bryce Terang